EastEnders fans, and welcome to another episode of Albert Square After Dark, your weekly EastEnders podcast. This week, discussing the episodes broadcast between the 26th to the 29th, leap year, hello, / the 1st of March, 2024. Yes, the scheduling's all weird and stuff again this week. I don't know, sport or something, tiddlywinks or football or chess or backgammon, something was going on, some sort of sporting event, which meant that the scheduling was a little bit weird, which means that EastEnders was technically on a Friday, but they'd uploaded on the iPlayer all week. It's just, you know what the streaming era is like. Hello, I'm Rob. Joining me as usual is Ree. Hello, Ree. How are you?
Hello, Rob. I'm all right. Are you?
No, I'm knackered. Been working all week. I've had one night off last night, and now I'm back in again tonight for 4 nights off. Save me, Ree, from this retail hell. I hate it.
Mate,
Do something.
I've got a baby, so you can't, well, a toddler, so, moaning to a mother about sleep. Well, trust me.
Well, I was up all night, technically. Not last night, but I've been up all night all week, technically. Sleep during the daylight. You don't get that luxury, but...
No.
Oh.
No. Did you just want to mention that we're a leap year, Rob? Is that why we said 29th to 1st of March and all that jazz?
Yes, because I don't actually think I've had the opportunity to say the 29th of February since I became a podcaster. So I thought it would be nice opportunity. A nice unique thing. A first for me. There we go. However, February is now done because it's a calendar change time. Yeah, it is. So that was February. Say goodbye to February, Peggy. Let's see what delightful picture, because as regular listeners will know, and I didn't think you'd be able to, as delightful Ree has made this year's calendar, as regular listeners will know, and she has got something fascinating to say about each and every photo as the calendar goes throughout the year, haven't you, Ree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
March will be a good one because it's my birthday month, so I'm sure I've put a good picture on it.
I was going to say, so seeing as though it's your birthday month, Ree's birthday next week, by the way, say happy birthday to Ree in the comment section. She's 50.
Next week, though. No, say 50. Yeah, I look great for it, though, don't I?
You do look fit as for a 50-year-old. All right, MILF. So have you got anything? Do you even remember what this picture is this year?
No, not a clue.
No, let's find out. This is March. I love it. Yes, that's quite appropriate for your birthday month. I can see exactly what you're thinking for that. If you are just on audio, the picture for this month is Pat and Peggy in the ice cream van. Classic scene.
Classic.
Both actresses have spoken very fondly of their memories of this scene and said that very little acting was required.
What did they actually get? Ooh.
No, I don't think they did that, but I think they were able to sort of lean on very easy to access memories of just being drunk in the back of ice cream vans. You know what the actors' lifestyle's like. They get drunk anywhere. These actors would do anything for Mr. Whippet. So there we are then. So that is March. I love that picture. It's great. This is one of the last kind of big Pat and Peggy scenes, I think, as well, because I don't think it was that soon, that long before Pat died after that. So yeah, love it. Right then, so that is March's picture. On to this week. Bit of an average week. I think it was more of a setup week, we decided over Messenger, didn't we? One of those weeks where
definitely
chess pieces were being put into place. The show's allowed those sorts of weeks every now and again. But we had some interesting developments. Nish has got nobody whatsoever. Dean is soon to have nobody whatsoever, and that storyline took quite the turn this week. And Denzel is pumping iron like a Popeye the Sailor Man, like just pumping and punching. Why is it, Reek? Tell me this. Why is it when people are boxing on television? I don't know if they do this in real life, because as if I ever hang around with people like that in real life. But you know, when someone's punching a punch bag or something like that, why do they make that weird noise? But what is that noise? What is that noise? What's it for?
It's called no, it's not. It's because they're working hard, Rob. Right. I just don't think we've ever exerted ourselves.
I work hard. I don't go around going like a steam engine.
It's like, if you're in pain and you might swear, so it's like a release. I think it's like that. It's like tennis players It's the same principle, I think. Yeah.
Like when I play Snap. Slow the card down, so exactly the same. All right, fair play.
There you go.
Just wondered. Right, there we are then. So we'll discuss Denzel and his pumping and his later, whilst we get on with this week's discussion in Albert Square After Dark. So let's talk about Denzel first, shall we? His fitness regime has continued to intensify, and she's now starting to affect his relationship with Amy. He gets kind of back on side with George this week, because obviously they had a bit of a falling out after George's behaviour a couple of weeks ago after the fallout from the Gloria and Eddie stuff, where he got a bit kind of intense. And now they're started talking again, they started training together again. And at some point during the week, Denzel catches eye of this sort of deal that's on for some kind of really intense training and sort of discounted things. So this is
I thought it was just some like protein shake.
Yeah, I think it's heading in that direction, isn't it? Like he's going to start. So I am starting to wonder if this is going to start heading into a steroid direction pretty soon.
Oh, well, I didn't think. I was still thinking like eating disorder type thing, but yeah, you probably got a point. Yeah,
I wonder if that's where it's heading, because he's very focused on muscles and all that kind of thing, isn't he?
So, and there'll be some dodgy types at that boxing den, I would have thought, who'd be like, "Here, lad, do you know what'd help?"
Yeah,
and then he can have all his cheat days. That what's his face ran about, George? Yeah,
I have a cheat day every single day. I should be a boxer every single day.
Yeah,
This is getting a bit worrying for Denzel, I think. I think it's starting to head in that direction. I don't think anybody is really like, yes, he should have had a date with Amy instead he went to the gym. At the moment, that's just sort of annoyance for Amy, because she really could have done with him with like emotional support at that time. But it's not, I don't think anybody is really paying all that much attention to it. It's just like, oh, Denzel's going to the gym a lot. But I think as the weeks progress,
George has picked up on him not having enough rest, didn't he? And saying, you know, the best stars have to have rest days and stuff. So
yeah, so you would think that George is going to be the first to really spot something, because presumably George will have come across this sort of thing in his career. So do you think, is this where you think it's going? Do you agree? I think steroids is where this is heading.
Now you've said it, yeah, probably. Or like I say, I don't know, he's very obsessive, isn't he? It's safe to say. And I don't understand why no one's like directly said to him, do you not think you're getting a bit obsessed with this? Because it's very obvious. But yeah, now you said steroids, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, makes sense.
I am really pleased though that Denzel's getting his own storyline, because I like Denzel a lot. I really do. And again, you know, it's as we say every week, it's about putting these kids of the younger generation of the square into the spotlight, and this is like Denzel's first massive storyline. So I'm really, really pleased to see it, and he's doing very well. I do think it's going to start going into quite a sad direction soon, because he is becoming so obsessed with it. I do agree with you in terms of the eating, but I don't think it's going to go down the eating disorder route, because we've only just kind of been there with Ben. So I do wonder if this is. I think his eating will be affected, but I think it will be a kind of part of a larger problem for him.
Definitely. I wonder how long it's gonna. Do you know how long this storyline's meant to be going on for?
No idea. I mean, this is something that, I mean, you know, with the speed of soaps, I think obviously it's going to be maybe a few months kind of storyline, but this is the sort of thing that goes on for years and years and years. And I think if it is going down the steroid route, I think it's going to be one of those things where we're starting it off with a gym obsession, and then it's going to turn into a steroid addiction, and then God knows where we'll end up with it.
Do you know something I did like about all of this though this week? How Nugget was constantly going to Denzel and being like, "Come on, man, tell your girl, innit? Yeah, like, I'd rather be with my girl than at gym." But it made me see Nugget as Ravi, and how Ravi's been with other characters, like with Zach and people, like past year or so, always like giving him advice and stuff, like relationship advice. So I really liked Nugget being like, "Come on, man, what are you doing?"
Yeah, I think Nugget's maturing a little bit, isn't he? When he first arrived, I think Nugget was quite immature and he was a little shit, basically, wasn't he, Nugget, when he first arrived? And now I think he's growing into himself now. They are doing this thing with the kids though, right? And all soaps do it, so it's not just EastEnders, but like any scene that the kids are in, any scene whatsoever, they're in their school uniform. No matter what time of the day it is, they're in their school uniform.
Oh yeah.
Whether it's around the dinner table, whether it's around the breakfast table, whether they've got up at 3 o'clock in the morning in the middle of the night. Oh, I just fell asleep in my school uniform. I didn't have time to change.
No, we've had a few with Amy not in school uniform, because I'm always like, oh, how do kids dress these days? So I do notice that there is the odd occasion.
That's what it is. It's school uniforms, really.
Yeah,
that's all they wear.
She had some jeans, because you know you're not allowed skinny jeans anymore, are you? So I'm always like trying to take note. No, did you not know that's a thing?
I know skinny jeans are a thing. Most of my
skinny jeans are
skinny, or they turn into skinny jeans when I'm finished with them.
out, mate. Skinny jeans have been out for a good couple of years. Yeah, it's all about straight or baggy or flared. Yeah,
baggy trousers, marvelous.
Baggy trousers, yeah.
Baggy trousers I can get behind. That sounds like a good idea. I mean, is there a difference between slack trousers and baggy trousers? Because if they're hanging, that's the sort of trousers I tell you. Yeah, do you reckon?
Just take a picture in them when you next put them on, and I'll let you know.
Oh, all right then. I'll send you pictures of me in my trousers.
Yeah.
Dirty bird. That's all you've wanted for years, isn't it? Ross. Right. Okay. There we are then. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how this progresses. I really, really am. It's going to be interesting, and I think it's a really important story to tell for a young teenage boy, actually, because this is the sort of thing. And I think, with the dawn of the internet, as we said before, really, things have changed since we were at school. We didn't have, social media, the internet, sort of when we were at school. Yeah, I mean, but when we were at school, the most this kind of really went into was the magazines, and that was very much kind of focused on the women, I think, rather than sort of the boys. And I think, and as time's gone on, I think it's kind of grown into just young people having so much pressure put on them. So I wonder how far they're going to go into looking at that side of things rather than it just being a very internal thing for Denzel. I wonder if they're going to take a sort of wider look at the implications of social media and looking at
the societal pressures.
Yeah. There's a few different directions they could go with it, so I'm interested to see. But yeah, bring this storyline on. I'm very, very excited. Right then, ladies and gents, shall now talk of our next story. On to Dean and Jade now, and my God, did this take a turn. Now, I have a bit of a confession to make, Ree, and I don't think I'm meant to be saying this, and I don't think I'm supposed to be feeling
Rob,
this
be
way.
Careful, don't get cancelled.
I've kind of really been enjoying the Dean and Jade dynamic. Is that wrong? I don't think I'm supposed to be enjoying it.
See, I felt like this with Dean. I've been like, I'm getting really annoyed because I actually have liked Dean this week.
And you enjoyed his character,
what a great dad he's being with Jade, and I like how they are as a father and daughter duo.
I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, I mean, I think I've
but I was annoyed at myself because I was like, surely I shouldn't be liking a character like
anything
Dean.
Anything to do with him whatsoever.
Yeah. And then the twist happened, the turn happened.
Oh, welcome back, Dean.
I was like, all right, okay. Yes. I can go back to hating you again. Thank God for that.
I know, it's a bit of a relief. I mean, I'm really enjoying their dynamic, and I'm totally seeing what you were saying last week about Elizabeth Green. Like, she's fantastic. Really,
she's amazing,
really
isn't she?
I'm really liking Jade. So I kind of don't want her to go to Pakistan at all.
Well, I don't think any of us do we? It's interesting. Sorry, I'm going to nitpick. But would Shabnam really take her kid?
I did wonder this, but then I don't know. I put yourself in the mothering shoes here, right? So
yeah, I'd be prioritising my kid who's just had a lung transplant. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but then if you're moving to another country, you'd want your kid with you, wouldn't you?
I won't move to another country. I won't move to another country.
Even if your mum was ill.
But they've just said that she's ill. They've said like, oh, she's ill, but not that ill. Well, I would say that Jade, I would say lung transplant on a teenager probably trumps that then. But we don't know exactly what the deal is with Zainab. So,
but then I also wonder whether that's actually more of a reaction to Dean rather than anything that's going on with Zainab. Whether this is
Shabnam she's trying to just get Jade as far away as possible.
That's what I was wondering.
Think of that. Possibly.
Because I agree with you. I was like, when they were talking about like, is it really safe? I kind of thought Dean had a point this week. It was like, she's just had a lung transplant. What are you talking about? You want to move her to another country? That's a ridiculous idea. I get that because she's busy coughing away, and that's clearly because she's just had a lung transplant. So of course she's not in any real fit state to travel at the moment. You would think. It was interesting. I mean, when I got the audio message from Shabnam, I was kind of like, oh my God, are we going to see Shabnam? Is Shabnam going to turn up? Are we going to hear Shabnam at the very least or anything? No, nothing like that. We've just got to
I know, I thought that, like, they're playing the voice note, like, should we be hearing it? Could it not have been a bit of a text message or something? Well,
yeah, or a phone call or something. I thought we were going to hear, I'd like to see Shabnam, because I miss Shabnam, and Shabnam was fantastic by the time
I loved Shabnam,
she was brilliant. And as for Zainab being ill, none of that, thank you. You leave Zainab alone. Zainab's going to be fine. She better be fine.
Let's not be killing Zainab off screen.
Let's not be killing Nanny Zainab off screen. Thank you very much indeed, planners. Let's less of that. Yes, so this is getting very, very interesting because, like we say, we were sort of. We're going to get hate for saying it, but I really was enjoying the Dean and Jade dynamic this week. I know Dean is a piece of work, and I know he's a monster, but that dynamic between the two of them I was enjoying.
But how else were we supposed to view that, though? That's what I don't get, because how could you really hate seeing that, other than obviously knowing what Dean's like as a character? Like, I think that was the idea. Almost it's too good to be true, which it was, weren't it?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So I think that was kind of the plan with that.
Yeah, and I do sort of wonder whether they were trying throughout this up to now to sort of garner even a modicum of sympathy from the audience towards Dean, in the way that he has been sort of pushed out by the whole square, the way that Matt D'Angelo often does that sort of really crestfallen look whenever anybody gives him gives Dean any work. Like, you know, you're sort of watching those moments like, are we supposed to be feeling sorry for Dean here? Like, is there a modicum of sympathy for him there?
Matt D'Angelo's got quite a good little like puppy dog eye type thing going on, hasn't he?
It makes Dean more of a human. I think it makes Dean more of a sort of layered character rather than just a moustache twiddling villain. It sort of gives him those layers. Like, we know he's a rapist, right? And no one's ever going to forget that. And the show hasn't forgotten that in any way, shape, or form. Demonstrated this week by the fact that Dean was trying to get some semblance of a love life together this week and went on a date with this lady. And it all seemed to be going rather well. Jade was kind of trying to, you know, get involved with it, mainly to kind of get Dean off her back so she could have some form of a social life with her mates. But then Amy gets herself involved and says, you do realise that you're going out with a rapist there, yeah? That's aware of that? Into that, are you? Yeah, is that a thing? So this woman quickly goes, bye, leaves, and again, Dean is just left alone. And I think what this storyline is really meant to be about is sort of showing Dean has absolutely nothing apart from Jade.
Yeah, definitely.
Which again, is that supposed to be? Are they trying to get some sympathy out of us for that? Do you feel any sympathy for him for that? Is the bigger question? No,
not at all. The only thing that I enjoyed about him was, why is he being such a good dad to Jade? But now we're seeing that he's not really. But when he like had that date and Amy got him, I was actually really happy that Amy said something to that woman, because as soon as they were about to kiss, well, they started kissing, didn't they? I was actually scared for the woman.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you don't know what you're getting involved with here, love. Like, stop. So now I don't feel sympathy for him.
No, I don't feel sympathy for him, but I just kind of like there has seemed to be moments coming up to now where it's like it's like if it was anybody else, you'd be like you'd have sympathy for the character in that situation, wouldn't you? So it's interesting. I think it's all been about trying to layer Dean as a character, because if they're going to keep him around, they can't just keep him as an evil moustache twiddling villain. They've got to sort of give him some sort of layers in order to make him have a reason to stick around. But we are very much back to the Dean of old by the end of the week, because Shabnam wants Jade to move to Pakistan with them to look after Nanny Zainab. Dean is, I think, understandably quite annoyed about this, where he's kind of like, she's clearly just had a lung transplant. Now, let's not get it twisted. He's thinking of himself in this more than Jade.
Yeah,
I think for sure. I'd say about 80-20 in terms of ratio of who he's thinking about in this situation. So he takes Jade to the doctors, and she's given some medication, which presumably will make her better and thereby able to travel, because at the moment it's been recommended that she doesn't travel. Again, interesting, because I thought they were going to be like, no, she's fine. Oh, yeah, crack on.
Well, they said she's got a chest infection, and they've given her antibiotics and oxygen. They prescribed her oxygen as well. So to me, that's quite a reasonable.
Yeah, you shouldn't be on a plane
to go.
I'd argue.
I mean, it's a long haul flight as well.
Yeah,
it's at least it's a good 8 hours, probably more, I think. So yeah.
Yeah, so arguably. So she gets given this medication, and Dean's sort of like, well, there's only one way I can stop her leaving, I guess. And so I wondered where they were going with this. I thought, is he going to try and overdose her? Is he going to try and like give her the wrong medication? But what he's actually doing is emptying the pills, so Jade's effectively taking nothing, so she's not going to improve. Right.
Did you used to watch Hollyoaks back in the day?
On and off.
They did a storyline. I remember the baddie Claire on that used to do it to Max's meds. That would just straight away what I thought of.
Right, okay.
She were emptying him. Yeah, because I didn't even know that were a thing until I watched that. Sorry.
No, so Jade's effectively taking little capsules of air, isn't she?
Yeah.
Isn't she? So where is this going, I wonder. Like, you've got to sort of wonder if Dean is going to be a character that they're going to... I feel like the idea for Dean, actually, at the moment, is to systematically sort of remove any sort of dignity or any sort of support. So he's left basically a shriveled wreck by the end of his storyline, and then just leaves a shadow and a shell. So if the only way for that to happen is... Go on.
Sorry, go on. I was just going to say, is this the first time that he's emptied the meds?
Yes. Yeah, this is the first time. Yeah. This is the first time he's done this, because it was with the medication they got from the doctors because of the chest infection.
Right. Okay. Right.
So she's been taking. So any medication she's been taking up to now has been absolutely fine because there was no threat of her flying away to Pakistan. But now he's basically making it so that I think his plan is that she's going to stay at this level, thereby unable to fly, rather than where the reality is she's probably going to get a lot worse quite quickly if she's not taking medication for the chest infection.
Yeah, very quickly. That's really serious. Okay.
So the question is,
I didn't know if we were supposed to think he's already been doing it. So
I see. No, I see what you mean. No, I don't think so. But the question then is, like, how far does this go? Does Jade die?
I know this is. Well, if he keeps doing it, unless he's just going to keep doing this until he knows that she can't fly to Pakistan and that's all been agreed, and then he'll actually start giving her the meds, maybe.
I think that at the moment is his plan, but those kind of plans don't really tend to work out that way, do they? Like, she could have a quite dramatic downturn of health quite quickly and out of nowhere with something like this.
You don't think they're going to kill her off, surely?
I hope not, because I think Jade's great. I've really, really enjoyed Jade this week, and I've really enjoyed her relationship with Jean. I love her relationship with the kids, like, because her and Amy had a bit of a set to this week, understandably, because Amy was sort of like, your dad's a rapist, mate. So they started having a fight, but by the end of the week, Amy and Jade have sort of made up, because Dean actually wants Jade to have mates and wants her to be able to sort of live on the square happily. So he's sort of trying to persuade Jack to sort of make Amy apologise. And by the end of the week, Amy and Jade are fine and offering each other chips and stuff. So that's kind of quite sweet. I'm enjoying watching Jade sort of grow and have friendships and everything. It's good. I don't want her to die. I don't want to go to Pakistan. I don't want to die. I want her to stay around. Thank you very much.
I can't help but think that Shirley's going to come back soon, because I feel
like
they need Shirley.
Yeah. That would.
And then maybe it might be Shirley who goes, hang on, Dean, what are you giving it meds or something like that? Or are they going to give that role to Jean, do you think? Because she's quite involved.
But then, that being the case, what would happen to Dean? Does he get arrested? Does he... There is also the train of thought that... we didn't mention this when this storyline was being mentioned a couple of weeks ago, that Johnny is going to frame Dean for the murder of Keanu, because I'm still convinced Johnny's got this meat for mama, so I don't care what anyone says. And so I wonder if that's his plan, that he's going to frame Dean for it, and that's one way to get rid of him. I don't know quite how he manage that, but, it's possible.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. Well,
so that would then get rid of Dean, and like you say,
might not be that difficult putting a meat thermometer down in Beale's heels somehow and getting his fingerprints on it.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, a meat thermometer in a food establishment, it's not exactly a difficult thing to find, is it?
That's what I'm saying. So he could just put it down for him to pick up and then put his prints on. I don't know.
We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I'm very intrigued by this. I almost thought... I think the show has sort of led me into a false sense of security with Dean, because I was sort of like, I get that his evil side's still there. I get that he's an unpleasant piece of work, and I get that the show hasn't forgotten any of that. But at the same time, I thought that they were sort of trying to make him a little bit more sympathetic, because it seemed to be more about this character that we know who did what he did, but it seemed like the show was trying to sort of portray someone who was trying to put their life back together again.
Yeah,
which I thought was a very risky way of doing it. And I was like, I'm not sure that's going to work. But now they're
almost like Dean's been wronged, so now we're going to show him trying to. Even though we know he's not been wronged.
No, we know he hasn't been wronged at all, and we know that he has been, doing things like the voice recording and all of that kind of thing. So we know that side hasn't left him. We know he's as evil as everybody else thinks he is. But I've just kind of found it fascinating the way that they've worked with Dean and sort of integrated him into the show and sort of elevated. Because once they brought Jade in, you've given him a family and you're giving him sort of people to interact with that is about more than just him raping Linda. So it's been really, really interesting.
They've committed as well. They've given him his own new set as well.
He's got a set.
Where is that, by the way? Do we still know where it is?
I would like to say that it's above Beale's Eels.
Okay,
that would make sense. Yeah. I think it is actually, because the implication is that Jade wasn't really supposed to live in the flat all that much. So it would make sense for that flat to, and she's sort of hanging around the restaurant quite a lot, isn't she? So I bet she just has to come downstairs and it's there, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, we need that clarifying.
Let us know in the comment section where you think this is going, your thoughts on Dean and Jade, and I'm really genuinely interested to sort of hear your thoughts on this process, because I am enjoying Dean as a character. I know he's a rapist, I know he's evil, and I know a lot of people are sort of watching him going, why am I even watching this? Why am I even giving this character any moment of my time whatsoever? And I think it's interesting to sort of see the show go, this is why. And whether that works or not remains to be seen for some viewers. But I think Dean's going to kind of turn into quite a subjective character in a lot of ways. Not that anybody's ever going to be feeling sympathy for him, but about whether the simple fact is whether they are enjoying having him in the show and sort of looking at the different elements that he's bringing in, the sort of different interactions that he's causing. It's interesting.
The good thing that he has brought to us is Jade, because we're enjoying Jade. So it's interesting to watch from that. But it's a bit like the whole Nish thing. It's like, I can't believe you're still walking around the square after Christmas Day.
After Christmas. After 10 months of building up to the worst people that Walford's got on offer at the moment. And both of them are still alive.
Yeah, exactly.
And still doing what they were evil for in the first place. Yeah, it's interesting. It really, really is. There we are then. So that's, as we say, that's one evil man, evil do-gooder dealt with. And we now move on to the other one. That was Nish, who properly found himself out in the cold this week. We have reached a turning point, I would argue, with Nish Panesar. He's got nothing left. Got no support, no friends, no family, and currently nowhere to live. That's quite the turning point for him, I would argue.
Well, he'll be back in that flat that he gave to Kat, won't he?
Yes. Now, I mean, Nish had quite the week this week, because he not only attacked Kat, he also attacked Suki. So 2 women he decided to just basically violently attack this week. Which was interesting. I thought this stuff with Kat was kind of quite fun, because she obviously, it feels like such a lot happened with this storyline at the start.
Yeah, it did.
To get to where we ended up. So at the start of the week, they're still kind of quite friendly with each other and chatting, and Nish kind of gives her the idea, well, if you want to sort of get as much money out of Phil as you possibly can, get me involved. I'll sort you out with a lawyer friend of mine. Because obviously, if you're going to go up against someone like Richie, you need someone who knows the law and all its little in between lines, as well as Richie does, to get the most out of the situation. And obviously, because Phil has sold the arches to Ben, Kat gets the idea in her head that he's trying to diggle her out of money. So she's kind of quite up for this, until Suki tells her, Roger Peel, is that who he's getting? You be careful, because that's going to be you with no money whatsoever. He's going to take it all himself. Roger Peel arrives, probably the sleaziest, creepiest lawyer in the world.
Yeah, definitely. Gross.
Absolutely gross.
Sorry.
It was absolutely gross, wasn't it? And he's kind of instantly all over Kat. We sort of instantly get the impression that Mr. Peel is just a bit of a ladies' man, and he's one of these people, I think, that would use his profession to get women into bed, isn't he?
Oh,
whether he's married or not.
When he walked in and went, I must be in the wrong room. You can't. No one would get divorced from you. It's like,
yeah, I mean, I thought I had enough respect for Kat. She instantly, the second he walked in, was like, all right, got the measure of you.
You're that type of lawyer, are you?
Right, okay, I know how to deal with you.
I liked that. And then I'm like, how have you not seen this with Nish though, Kat? Like, how have you spotted it with this lawyer like that and not with Nish?
Yeah, it's been frustrating with Kat and Nish, because you sort of think, I struggle to think that Kat would even have gone there in the first place, until you think about the likes of Derek and all that kind of thing. So you could sort of maybe argue away as to how she's arrived there. But even so, when she's got so many people that she loves and cares about saying, no, Kat, stupid idea.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one of those moments. It was a bit like Gina, where like something has to happen to her individually for her to think, oh, right, okay, I guess everybody else was right then. It's slightly irritating.
Yeah, it's very similar Gina Dean situation in a way, actually.
Yes. So once Kat has kind of heard the goss on Roger Peel, she then manages...
Roger Peel, a wife stealer.
That's the one, yes. She sort of manipulates Nish into saying, oh, yeah, no, just put your money in my name and everything will be absolutely fine. And she's like, oh, right, okay, I get where we were at now. So she wants Suki to help her sort of bring Nish down because now she's against Nish. All right, that's it. Her and Nish are absolutely done with. And she sort of then she meets up with Roger alone and instantly knows how to get around him. Just basically dresses like Cat essentially, and sort of puts on the charm, puts on the flirtation. Very quickly manages to get Roger to kiss her, but she set up a camera. Well, not set up a camera. Probably camera was already there in the cab office, and she's got evidence of him effectively cheating on his wife that she wants to blackmail him with. What slight side point? I had no idea how big that office was. It's huge, isn't it?
That's what I put on our Instagram thing. Like, did anyone realise how big that office is?
It's half the size of a square.
Massive.
Like a TARDIS. Just to think that Dot had all that room in the laundrette that she never did anything with.
She was always just always in that that one table. Having a cup of tea and a fag, weren't she?
Yeah. She had all that room to play with. She never did anything with it. Could have at least bought 10 more washing machines out the back if she thought about it.
Cigarettes is what I meant when I just said that.
Yeah, well, that's a very UK word.
UK slang. I do apologise.
Yes. I don't think you need to apologise for using that. That's just the English word That's just the English word for it. Okay. I think you're all right. I don't think you're going to get cancelled from that, Ray. All right. So basically, Nish kind of then quickly works out what's gone on here. He finds out that Kat was planning on because sort of double crossing him.
Priya overhears. Let's not forget, Suki then walks in because the plan looks like it's going awry. In comes Queen Suki to save the day.
Great.
Little do they know that. Yeah, but Priya's waiting behind the door, listening into it all, isn't she? So then it's not long before Nish finds out what's going on.
I'm gonna say though, Priya, like she hears this information and then instantly kind of goes running to Nish with it, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, you've done very well there. Thank you very much." Hands her like 20 quid, like for her trouble. I'd want more if I was Priya in that situation. We know Priya is the sort of person that would quite happily take a lower sum of money for blackmail because she only wanted $3,000 off Suki. And normally in those sorts of circumstances, it's like 100 million by the end of the day for this information that I've got on you.
I've got a bit to say about Priya, but we'll kind of get to that with how the week. Well, I've been really disappointed in Priya since Christmas, if I'm honest. Like, don't get me wrong, I love a character and I totally see the Janine side to her that you keep saying, totally.
Yeah.
But she was so on Suki's side at one point and could see Nish for what he was. Then they all kind of saw him going, at Christmas, like kind of attacking Suki even then. Then for them to all turn around, I know Suki tried to get them all to forgive him kind of thing. But then something wasn't sitting right with me for Priya. I thought, no, you're a girl's girl. I'll use that phrase. So when she's been all cozy with Nish, I get that it's a kind of survival thing for her because she wants somewhere to live.
I think that's the main point of it with Priya. I think
because it wasn't sitting right with me there how she were being. But then obviously what happened later in the week, we see that. I don't want to say that because we're going to get to it, but yeah,
it's already been aired. You're not going to spoil it for anybody.
Obviously, when she sees him attack Suki, Priya then is like, no, I'll never be okay with a wife beater. I'm like, thank God for that woman beater. I think she said sorry. I'm like, okay, now I can get on board with Priya again because this has not been sitting right with me at all.
I mean, I've been seeing it. I mean, like you say, I can see essences of Janine in Priya, and I've been looking at the Nish and Priya things as almost like Janine and Terry sort of dynamic. When she was,
Terry.
Right. Those were the days when she was sort of basically taking advantage of it, like using the fact that she was young, good looking to basically have somewhere to live and to be kept in pocket. Yeah, if you want me to find out some stuff on your ex-wives, and I'm all right for money. Suits me, it keeps me and Avani with a roof over our head. So yeah, it's interesting, and obviously Priya needs a job at the moment. She kind of goes crawling to Ravi at one point. He's got no interest in giving Priya a job whatsoever because you can sense the danger that would cause. Which is why
bit of chemistry between them there.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be long before those two are back in bed together again, is it?
No, definitely not.
They suit each other, actually. I think this is the first time we've actually seen a woman in Ravi's life who could probably match him in terms of sort of the sneakiness and the sort of underhandedness and the sort of villainous side. I think it'd be interesting to sort of see Priya and Ravi together and sort of see their dynamics as a couple. I'd be interested to sort of see that and how they would interact and how they would live with each other. Watch this space on that front, I think. So meanwhile, Nish finds that out, attacks Kat, and she manages to escape out of the house, and instantly Suki, Stacey, Eve are all kind of flanking her side and sort of with that. So Nish decides, right, okay then, so I'm going to hit Kat where it hurts, and he reports Stacey to the police for attacking him on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Now this is sort of the start of the sick starting to snowball again. They're very bad at this. They're very, very bad at this.
They're really bad at this. I don't understand where this is all going.
They're getting worse as time goes on with keeping this secret, aren't they? You'd think as time would go on, you'd be better at sort of keeping your gob shut. But if anything, this lot are getting worse at it.
I think it's good in a way though, because I don't want to say I'm bored of it. That's not the right thing.
But you're ready for the next development.
Yeah, because I feel like it's happened and we're still going on about it. And I know obviously it's a big thing, but it's like, but where is this going to go? Because I feel like we kind of need to put this to bed in a way.
I don't know about putting it to bed, because I think actually it's quite, like you say, it's quite a big thing. So there needs to be a lot of elements that need to be sorted with it. And I think this sort of drip feeding the information to various characters is an interesting way of doing it. Because it's not like, because Stacey basically revealed this week to Jack, and very carelessly as well. Like there was no care put from Stacey's dialogue whatsoever. She was just like, "Yeah, well, Denise hit him." Kind of like,
I thought that was well done though, how she revealed it to him in a not deliberate way. Actually, I must say, I actually like. Okay, I can kind of see how that had happened in this conversation.
Yeah, see, now I was kind of like, I feel like Stacey would have been much more careful than that, considering this isn't her first rodeo. Yeah, I thought, this ain't Stacey's first rodeo. You know what I mean? Like she's been in this situation before about having to keep her gob shut. She managed it. She managed it when she killed Archie. So you'd have thought that I thought she'd have been a bit more careful, but you know,
she's had a few more. She's had a few more kids since then, Rob. You know, you have that good old mummy brain happens to you. I must admit. So.
Yes, that's it, isn't it? So basically, she ends up telling Jack this week that Denise was the one that attacked Nish, and Jack's sort of like, "Oh, great! What am I supposed to do with that information? Thank you very much indeed." I enjoyed Suki being instantly furious with Suki, because fair play, because Suki is pretty much with Stacey. Sorry, because Suki is pretty much the only one who is really keeping this ship afloat at the moment. Like Kathy's falling to pieces because Rocky's sentencing was this week. 10 years, bit harsh, wasn't it?
He did commit arson.
Yeah, like 10 years though.
Yeah, it's treated really pretty seriously, Rob, especially when it's arson, isn't it?
Yeah, but no one died.
They nearly did. They nearly did.
Nearly is a big word in legal terms, I would argue.
Right, which one of us is getting cancelled this episode?
I am not getting cancelled for saying that Rocky doesn't deserve 10 years for not killing anybody. I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve to go to prison, but I just thought that 10 years was a long time. Considering you don't get much more for murder.
I think it seems harsh to us because we know Rocky and we're like, I didn't mean it though. But if you read that in a newspaper that someone had deliberately set a cafe on fire and nearly killed 2 people and got 10 years, you might even read it and go, that's a bit short, isn't it? A return?
Maybe, yeah. But then they didn't know how he very nearly got addicted to gambling either, did they?
Well, this is it. This is it. He did get addicted to gambling.
Yeah, so there we are then. So yeah, Kathy's kind of struggling with that. Gets pissed with Elaine, which I quite enjoyed. Because Elaine made an insensitive comment to Kathy this week and then felt really guilty. And then what did Kathy get in an apology? A drink on the house. Ah!
Drink on the house. A bottle of wine, nonetheless.
Whole bottle. Yeah. Oh, she's generous, is Elaine. Very, very generous.
A bottle of wine. Sorry.
Great friend to have. I'd have Elaine in my life and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I thought that's well good. Bottle of wine. Go on then.
Offend me again. I'd take that there. Thank you very much. Yeah, so that's Kathy. So Suki is the only one that's really kind of keeping everything together. And like rightfully says to Stacey, "Are you mad? Like, why did you tell him that? You're an idiot." So she then has to go running to Jack and sort of trying to deal with that, and works out that I think that Jack's going to keep quiet. How long for, we don't know, because I wouldn't want to put that much trust in Jack with something like this, even if it is Denise trying to protect her. I still.
It's also a bit like how Suki said to Stacey, all he has to do is go and say to Denise, "I know what happened like Christmas Day," and then Denise will assume that he knows about Keanu as well, and maybe like that.
Well, that's what Suki did, wasn't it? Because like Stacey goes, I told him. What? You told him about Keanu?
About Keanu?
No. About the less important thing, about the one that's still alive. Like it's almost like everyone else has forgotten about Nish, which you know. Yeah, so I bad. I don't think Jack's going to be. There's one thing telling Johnny, who clearly is very protective of Linda and who has clearly got an interest in keeping it quiet, at least for now. But yeah, Jack is the wrong person to have told. I think this isn't going to go well.
Well, he's all about, oh, well, I'm a copper.
Upholding the law.
I've got to say everything and blah, blah, blah. But obviously, it being his wife, it depends how they take the Denise route as well, I think, maybe.
Well, I did say last week, there's absolutely no way that we're not going to see Denise now. Now she's in. Now we didn't see her once this week. I thought that we were at least going to see a bit of Denise in hospital. We still might, but we were very much everything that went on with Denise very much happened off screen this week because Jack went to see Denise. She didn't want to see him. She sort of stared at him through the window and then like no interest in talking to you whatsoever. So at the moment, Jack's kind of thinking my marriage is pretty much over. So the only thing that he has got really is keeping this secret. If he wants to keep any semblance of Denise whatsoever, and it does certainly seem that Stacey's not that interested in continuing an affair at this point either.
Oh well, and he annoyed at Stacey as well. He found out that it was Stacey who, rang up the mental health team in the first place as well this week.
He has nothing to be angry about as far as I'm concerned on that front. Like, what else did you think she was going to do? Like, she knows psychosis and she knows the state Denise was in. What were you going to do, Nurse Jack?
Well, he wanted to wait until the next morning, didn't he? But I don't know what he thought would have happened.
Because that would have made all the difference. Give her a couple of paracetamol and put her to bed and she'll stop seeing hallucinations everywhere. Yeah, that's going to work, isn't it? Silly Jack. So basically Stacey and Suki end up having a massive row and Stacey chucks Suki out, which I thought was a bit harsh, but I kind of... So, and that kind of causes problems for Suki and Eve as well. So I wonder, what's the kind of fallout of that going to be?
That felt a little bit clumsy, how that happened. She just walked out and Eve was like,
she wasn't going to tell her. She wasn't going to tell her at all. She sort of walked out with a haversack.
Well, we know why that was. It was so that it could develop into Suki gets the house back. So presumably Eve's going to move back into the house if Suki's got it now.
I did wonder about this whole thing with Suki and Eve because you sort of wonder. Because we haven't actually really focused that much on Suki and Eve since Christmas, and I kind of thought that Eve was going to be one of the first people to find out. In all honesty, because
same.
I'd actually rather tell Eve than I would Johnny in their boots. Because
definitely.
You know that Eve has got more of their interests at mind, so she wanted to
Eve helped with the Eve helped with the Theo sitch, didn't she?
Yeah, and she hates Nish, so she'd want to keep Suki safe. She'd want to keep Stacey safe, and so anybody that was involved with Nish whatsoever, she'd want to keep absolutely safe. So Eve would have been an ideal person to tell, really.
There's time yet, though, because they all seem to be telling one person, don't they?
It's falling out of their mouth like belches, these lies over Christmas, aren't they? So, I don't have thought it would that long before Eve finds out. But at the moment, Eve's annoyed and in a mood for Suki. So, we'll see how that plays out. So with nothing left to do, Suki goes around to see Nish and go, well, let's just sort of make the peace. But that lasts about 2.5 seconds because they soon end up arguing and Nish attacks his second woman of the week, like physically, starts trying to like kind of throttle her and everything. It doesn't go well. But then everybody in the Panesar household walks in and sees Nish. I wonder if we're actually supposed to have got the impression that they didn't see as much as we think they saw on Christmas Day.
This is what I'm a bit confused by, because it's like, well, what did you think happened Christmas? Was that not enough for you to try and help Suki? I don't know.
Even if they didn't see what went on with Suki on Christmas Day, they definitely know that he attacked Ravi.
Yeah,
with a rolling pin. Like, he went all Hilda Ogden on Ravi's head. So I sort of wonder, like, what else did you need to know that Nish is a bit of a nutter?
Yeah, but I think, like Priya said, well, like, the line's drawn at woman beating. So maybe she thinks it's all right to beat your son. I don't know.
I don't know. This is what makes me think. I don't think they knew exactly all the ins and outs of the Nish and Suki relationship, because otherwise they would have known that this was going on anyway, and so it wouldn't have been as much of a surprise as it was to see that happening in front of them.
Didn't Vinny walk in a few times when it was getting pretty heated?
That was the thing. Vinny knew full well what was going on. And I have to say, I did like Vinny. Sort of when Nish walked in and was all drunk, and Suki was like, "Yeah, well, I spoke to Masood. I basically own this house now." Vinny, hard as nails, standing up with all the rest of the family there. Guarantee that wouldn't have been happening if there was nobody else in the room.
If Ravi weren't there, in particular, I dare
Vinny
say.
Hard man, like, yeah, what we can do is the easy way or the hard way, Daddy.
Yeah.
Bless
Good
him.
There, finally. Yes. Took them all long enough, but also kind of because Suki talked him into forgiving him. Yeah. But a funny one, isn't it?
Yes, but that machismo and confidence disappeared quite quickly when Nish just attacked Vinny. It didn't go well. That first
His mask has truly slipped this week, hasn't it?
It has, and they ended up chucking Nish out of the house. He does that classic sort of landing on the square in a heat. got nothing, no support, no family, no friends, no house. And if Suki has her way, very little money as well. So Nish now is someone who has absolutely nothing to lose. So arguably now he is at the most dangerous we've ever seen him.
Yeah, that is true. Who's next? It's got to be Suki then, or who's he going to
Suki
go
or
for
Eve.
next?
Suki or Eve. Because I don't think, because the only reason he went to Stacey was to harm Kat. And I don't think he's got a slightest bit of interest in Kat now. Like the thing with Kat is like, he wants to hurt Suki now. So Suki and Eve are in danger. And I do wonder now that Suki and Eve are a little bit at loggerheads at the moment, it's going to make Eve easier to get to.
Oh God. Just leave him alone, man. Go somewhere else and start fresh, will you? Get over it.
Take the hint. But I think it's interesting that even Priya's like, do one now. So sort of makes you wonder what the plan with Priya now is. Like, her and Suki going to become mates now, or what?
This is what I'm wondering, because is Ravi still living in the flat that Suki and Co originally lived in, right?
Yeah, I think so.
It'd make more sense, surely, for Priya and Co to go move into the flat, or for Suki to maybe swap with Ravi and they all live in the house, and Suki and Eve could maybe have the flat. I don't know.
I think
don't know
so.
Go with it.
I don't know where Nish goes from here. I think it's going to be. I feel like we must be in the final couple of months of Nish now, because he has absolutely nothing to lose now. So I feel like we're going towards the climax for Nish. I mean, I've been saying this about so many things over the past year, and I've always been wrong. But I feel like it must be, surely, shouldn't it?
The only thing I can think is Johnny going to try or someone going to frame Nish instead for the murder of Keanu? That'd make more sense.
Well, that's the story they've been going with.
Is.
Yeah, but that's the story they've been going with all the time, isn't it? And yeah, you're right. It would make total sense for Nish to have attacked Keanu and then buried him under the calf that he just bought. That must be fairly easy to set up. And the fact that Nish is now also going around making all these false statements about the women, which even the police, even Walford police have worked out is just a revenge tactic.
And Jack knows about the Eve situation.
Yeah, so Jack can manipulate the situation quite easily because he was able to get Stacey out of being interviewed by the police quite quickly. So I think this might be where the Nish stuff is going. He's going to go down for Keanu's death, possibly. Easy to put him there because he's murdered before. The police know that. The jail service know that. So he'd be back inside for pretty much the rest of his life.
I mean, what else has he got to do? He's lost everyone. Like, we've never seen him with any of these, what you call them? Not like hitmen, but the other, like a crew. I don't even know what to say.
A crew.
He's not had anyone.
Nish's crew.
when he's needed stuff doing, he's always asked Ravi or Vivi to do it. Now he's not got those two. Who's he got to go to? Yeah, Aardmen.
He's not like Phil. He's not like Phil and Ben who have got who've got an entire phone book of people.
Call.
Yeah.
So who's he going to go to get to do his dirty work? Like, how is he even going to get revenge on everyone? That's what I mean. Like, or is he just going to go all in and just go for Suki and Eve, like you're saying? That's it.
I think so. Watch this space. Very, very interesting. Go on.
If Eve didn't have her back towards Nish, I think she could easily have him.
Oh yeah, easily. The thing is, Nish is not physically intimidating by any stretch of the imagining, but he is dangerous.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's true. He would have a line where I'm not going to kill you, whereas Nish is like, bye.
Yeah.
So
bye, Felicia. Bang over the head. Yeah. Let us know in the comment section, Nish, what's the plan? I think it's quite interesting. This week has been actually very focused on Nish and Dean, two characters that a lot of viewers are sort of like, why aren't you dead? So, I mean, I've enjoyed it, though. I have enjoyed it. I'm enjoying them actually taking the time to really sort of, in a lot of ways, wring as much drama out of these characters as they can before they end up leaving. But, I think I'd rather have that than wasting character potential.
Yeah, true. I just don't see where they're going to go with Nish now, so that'll be interesting to see.
No, they can't both die and they can't both go to prison, surely.
Exactly.
So one's going to die, one's going to go to prison. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Ooh. We'll have to wait and see. Gold star this week, Ray, who's getting yours?
Ooh. I'm going to give it to Jade this week. So I wanted to give it to her last week.
Yeah, right, fair play.
Oh, sorry, have I took your gold star?
Yeah,
you decided this rule.
I did, yeah. No, that's fine. I'll give mine to Suki then in that case, I think.
Yeah, good one.
Suki had a good week. I really enjoyed Suki.
Yeah, she did. She had a really good week.
There we are then. So Jade and Suki for the Gold Stars this week. Now then, ladies and gents, quite a bit of news to get through this week. We have some news to discuss about EastEnders because we have a character returning. And there's also been some other news released about Hollyoaks that I wonder whether it garners discussion about the future of soaps as a whole. Right then, first bit of news. We have good news, Ree. We've got a character returning. She's not been seen for a little while, but Mo Harris is on her way back to EastEnders as Lena Morse is set to reprise her iconic role this spring. According to the BBC EastEnders page on Facebook, Mo first landed on our screens in 2000 as the no-nonsense matriarch of the Slater family, and over her 19 collective years in Albert Square, Mo was never far from drama. Mo left Warford back in 2021 to go on a cruise with on-off love interest turned fiancé Fat Elvis, and has made guest appearances since. But she's now to return on a permanent basis and will be returning with Freddie. So, thoughts on Mo returning? I'm quite pleased. You know, Mo's a fun character. She's not, I think, one of the biggest characters in EastEnders history, but she's a good supporting character to have around.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking when I saw it, like, oh, we've not really missed her. But then actually, I thought, do you know what? She might inject a bit of humour into the Slater household,
Yeah,
which I think we probably need.
Yeah, I mean, Mo is a great comedy character, and I think she always she brings the Slaters a nice sort of a nice angle as well. So I think with Kat and Stacey, there's something fun for them to be doing as well as all the drama of the Six stuff. So yeah, I'm up for Mo returning, and she will be returning with Freddie. Some might argue Freddie is coming back with the wrong Mo, but I think that ship has long since sailed.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say little Mo's not coming back.
No, because if she was going to return, she would have been during the Graham stuff.
Now,
But yeah, no, that's interesting. Or now, indeed, yeah. Not quite sure what brings Freddie back and why he'd come back with Mo. Though I'm not sure where they can go with that.
Yeah, interesting actually, because now he's been gone for so long now. It's like, why would he come back? Unless it's just, oh, all Theo stuff's done, so it feels like he can come back kind of thing.
He's safe. Yeah, interesting.
Or are we going to see more Graham again?
Possibly. I mean, I got the impression that the Graham stuff was done, but you never know. There might be more elements to it. Have to wait and see. So that should be happening in the coming week. So yeah, bring Mo. I'm pleased to have Mo back. Less good news.
Freddie.
And Freddie as well, yes. Less good news was published yesterday. According to the Metro, Hollyoaks episodes are to be cut as the soap is hit hard with a wave of job losses. Hollyoaks, according to the Metro, will reduce its weekly number of episodes to just 3 a week. The Channel 4 soap currently airs 5 times a week, but this will be reduced later in the year. The reduction is a direct result of research which suggests that younger audiences, which is Hollyoaks' key demographic, are more inclined to watch an average of 3 episodes a week due to other forms of content competing for their attention. Now then, to put any minds at rest for the fans of Hollyoaks isn't going anywhere because they've recently signed the deal to keep it around for a few more years left, and I think it's their 30th next year as well. So, but I think it's interesting that Hollyoaks are doing this because arguably, this is a double-edged sword, right? Arguably, on a positive front, I think the quality of Hollyoaks will absolutely soar from here because only putting out 3 episodes a week, that gives them a lot of time to fine-tune episodes. Rehearsals can increase there because, arguably, the more episodes you put out of any show, the less time you have to prepare for the filming of episodes. My mind goes to Coronation Street at the moment, which is currently churning out 6 episodes a week, and I would argue you can tell.
Yeah, me and you, we've both been Coronation Street and EastEnders fans, haven't we? And I don't think either of us make any effort to keep up with Coronation Street these days. I try to because I still,
Yeah.
But yeah, the quality of Coronation Street compared to EastEnders, obviously we're a bit biased, but yeah, you can tell that there are too many episodes, and
yeah, I mean, I've always thought
you don't get a chance to delve into a character really because it's I don't know, you're trying to get too much out of it almost. I don't know.
Well, this is the thing. When you are churning out 6 episodes a week, right? The rate of stories that you have to kind of think of from there. And churning out that many episodes gives you much less time to fine-tune scripts. It gives you much time to fine-tune direction on the set because you're literally filming, right? That'll do. Next scene. You don't. I mean, the old days of Coronation Street, you would have very many cast members who used to be in it, like talking about how they would have rehearsals and everything. And you look back on some of the classic episodes, and you can sort of see that fine tuning in very much in force. This is why people, I think, always kind of harper back to the old days of soap, just because the production crew were given so much more time to put their stories and their scenes together. Now, EastEnders, I would argue, is the perfect length. I'm not looking at EastEnders these days and thinking that's a rushed show. I think they are the production quality is really high on EastEnders, especially at the moment. I was looking up. Funny enough, I was watching that scene in the marketplace where with Stacey, and there was just so many extras milling around, and it just felt like a real sort of not real realistic environment, which many of the other soaps I don't think have got that advantage to them, and that's always been the way with EastEnders. So I think that Hollyoaks will actually see quite an uplift in quality. They are having a bit of a resurgence at the moment in a similar way to EastEnders is doing, actually, because they had a bit of a down period and they've just had a new producer come in. And according to many kind of viewers of it, Hollyoaks' quality has shot up recently. So this may increase that even further. So in some ways, it can be good news for Hollyoaks. But the problem is, this also will mean that job cuts are coming. The aim of this apparently is to cut 135 jobs from Hollyoaks, which is going to be writers, that's going to be directors, that's going to possibly be cast, and also camera people, production assistants. Anything. A lot of people that make 5 episodes of a soap happen. You don't need as many to make 3 episodes happen. It's just as simple as that. Of
course, you don't physically have the hours, do you, to give them? So,
And this is, I think, part of a wider problem. Channel 4 at the moment, if you look into sort of where they are at the moment as a channel, they're actually in a lot of trouble at the moment, Channel 4, because of the advertising situation at the moment, which is basically, if you look into it, advertisers are going elsewhere. Obviously, the whole point of advertising, you pay a channel a certain amount of money to put your advert on in a time slot. Channel 4 takes that as their money. That's how they earn that's how their business works. But obviously advertisers are looking elsewhere to put their stuff now, streaming services, YouTube, the internet in general. AI is really going to start taking influence with that. AI, don't even get me started on that. That stuff scares me. But basically, Channel 4 is going to really start struggling over the next few years with the advertisements and the budgets that they've got. And so there's that with Channel 4 for a start, but then also you're looking at this from the wider area of soap and the genre as a whole. In the past year or so, we've lost Holby City and Doctors, and now Hollyoaks is being reduced to 3 episodes a week. And it's sort of really interesting to sort of look at the industry and sort of thinking, how are young writers and directors and crew supposed to be getting into the industry now? It's already almost impossible to get into the industry. Like, if you look anywhere, anyone who's trying to get into the industry, even people who have been in the industry for years are finding it difficult to sort of earn a living these days. And this is the sort of thing that's really going to make that 10 times harder.
I mean, it's like you say as well, how do you keep the way that you keep a young audience involved as well is to get young writers in, really. So how are you? It's a bit of a catch-22 in a way, isn't it, for the genre of soap in that respect?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think many young people do watch soaps, if I'm honest. And Hollyoaks was the one that the most young people watched.
You kind of
Go on. Could it work in their favour that the quality is going to get better? So hopefully they might get more of a younger crowd, and in turn that'll spill out onto the other soaps, and people might be more interested. But it doesn't sound positive, though. Let's be honest, does it?
It doesn't. And also bear in mind, Hollyoaks recently this year went on to digital first. So basically, their main output is on Channel 4's streaming service. Like, it doesn't air on Channel 4 at the moment, I don't think, except on maybe an omnibus slot at some point during the week. But it's mainly focused on uploading the episodes, and that's where the most of their viewers come from. They've also been putting it on YouTube, so it's very much digital based. I don't think the other soaps are quite in that boat yet. Obviously, EastEnders has done their streaming thing where they stick an episode on at 6 a.m. and that's working absolutely brilliantly for them.
But Neighbours do that now, don't they? Because it's only on Amazon Freevee.
Freevee, yeah, but then that's closing down soon.
Yeah. Is it?
What Freevee is? Neighbours is fine. It's going somewhere else, but
apparently, it was, I thought it was one of Freevee's biggest shows. Neighbours, bizarrely. So that's working in that respect with the digital output. So, is that the way that all soaps are going to end up going with the looks of things?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky time for the industry as a
whole. The way the times are going, isn't it?
It is, and there's also a lot less money to spend at the moment in this sort of thing. Again, AI. There was an article this week that said that AI could probably write its own soap at the moment. I don't know how AI has reached this point. I really, really
yeah,
don't.
It did a while ago. My brother sent me one. He put all these different things in to write an EastEnders episode. I'll have to send it you. And I was like, oh wow, that's bizarre.
It's weird. AI has come out of nowhere, it would seem. It's almost, and in the next 10 years or so, we're going to be talking about AI a lot more. It's already, and again, with the advertising thing with Channel 4, AI is already at the stage where it can do advertising and make it so specific to individual consumers, which is the last thing that Channel 4 needs, because obviously airing an advert on a TV is putting it to a wider audience. Whereas really in this day and age, adverts need to be sort of acclimatized to individual users, because they can look at that and go, yeah, that advert is relevant to me. I want to buy that product. So there's a lot of elements at the moment that are making the soap genre a lot more difficult in terms of the commercial channels.
So we all need to keep pressing reject all cookies, right?
Yeah, basically. The AI thing is really sort of building. It's another conversation to be had there entirely. Maybe we will at some point. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the output of Hollyoaks, interesting. Really sad for the job losses. Again, it's another door that's sort of closing towards getting into the industry. But I do think the quality of the episodes will rise quite quickly for Hollyoaks in terms of that.
Hopefully, I mean, they can turn it into a positive.
Yeah, I mean, I've never thought. Nobody was asking Coronation Street to go up to 6 episodes a week. Nobody wanted that. That's about filling the schedule up. That isn't about audience consumption.
Or maybe that's why they're surviving, because then they've got more time for adverts to be getting put in, Rob.
Yeah, it's true. But no show needs to be on that much apart from the news. Do you know what I mean? Like, EastEnders has always kind of stuck at what it is at the moment, and that's worked for them. In fact, EastEnders actually airs the least episodes out of all the soaps. So, and that shows in its quality, I think, compared to some of the others. It's interesting. So yeah, watch this space for Hollyoaks. I think it's either going to go one way or the other, but they have got commitment to be airing for the next few years. So it's not the end of the road for Hollyoaks by any stretch of the imagination, but this is, however you choose to view it, a little bit of negative news for it, I would argue. So there we are.
Yeah.
Right, so final thing, ladies and gents, we've got our caption competition. So here is your picture, and as usual, Ree will decide the winner. I'm going to throw her my favourites throughout the week, and Ree will decide the winner. Adrian Mills Designs has said, "So what? He wants me to buy shares in Just for Men." Gilbert Pocket has said, "When they go to the bar without offering to buy you a drink." And Buswell Braziers has said, "Me when EastEnders isn't on, but the football is instead." Ray,
I mean, I think the winner out of them is got to be Buswell Braziers, especially after this week.
Yeah, me when EastEnders. Yes, me when EastEnders isn't on, but the football is instead, goes very well for audio listeners with the photo that of Kat pulling a face at Nish from behind his back at the bar. So me when EastEnders isn't on, but the football is instead. Well done to Buswell Braziers 22 for winning this week's caption contest. Marvellous. There we are then. So that is another episode done and dusted. If you would like to get in touch with us with comments, questions, or caption contest entries, you can do the following.
You can find us on Facebook at Albert Square After Dark, on Instagram and Twitter at E20 After Dark. Like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, Albert Square After Dark, and find us on all your favourite podcast sites. Drop us an email at e20afterdarkpodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to buy us a coffee, you can do so by going on buymeacoffee.com/E20 After Dark.
Marvellous. Thank you very much indeed. Next week, Ree, we're going on holiday. We're going on holiday next week to Milton Keynes.
Oh, what are you on about? I'm not going on holiday. I wish.
I'm going on holiday. Yes, we are off to Milton Keynes next week, ladies and gentlemen. We have a double episode set 5 weeks across, in the 2 episodes set across 5 weeks. That's what I'm trying to say, because we have a return that's going to be written by Mr. Ashdown. So very, very exciting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to next week. It looks to be quite a big one. Very, very exciting. Can't wait for that. So we will be discussing the fallout from our little trip to Milton Keynes next week. Until then, it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
See you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.